as we start back, there are a few questions that have been raised we're going to address at this point. So there were 3 questions that were posed within the Google Doc that we thought we would have Dave Sapp answer while he's here. And do you want to read them off your little phone? Sure. All right.
So the first question is, to clarify, there is no expectation for LEAs to upload local performance indicators in 16-17. I would answer it as there's an expectation that they will, and that it actually will be used in the LCAP planning process. There's no requirement that they do so. But there's an expectation because it should be helpful to the planning process. So in terms of how you're talking about working with districts and supporting them, this is learning how to use it because it will be required if they want to meet the standard in future years. So this is the opportunity to get familiar with it, to use those local reflection tools, and to help it inform their LCAP process. But there is no requirement that they do so. The second question was that the accountability system is fully operational in 17-18. How can we clearly articulate this to LEAs while the ESSA state plan will not be submitted until September of 2017? So the distinction here is that the state accountability system, which focuses on identifying what are the indicators, what are the performance standards, and is going to be fully operational for 17-18. That includes also the assistance and support process at the LEA level. So for districts, for county offices, and for charter schools under state law, under LCFF. So the next round of data that comes out in fall of 17 will be used, and that'll be the first year that LEAs would be identified as needing assistance under LCFF. ESSA, the board will be considering, we expect the board to approve the state plan that fall also. That means that the school level assistance and support process wouldn't come online until 18-19. So it's fully operational 17-18. The district level assistance and support starts in 17-18. The school level under ESSA will follow the next year. But it will be fully operational in 17-18 for assistance and support purposes for districts. The third question was, can districts use the information from the dashboard with their stakeholders during the February preview period, or will they have to wait until March after the public release? We don't have an answer to that question right now. We expect to have an answer this afternoon. So we will be sharing that as soon as we reach a definitive answer on sort of how that's going to be communicated as part of the preview period going forward. And then there was one more question. Could county offices have access to all the district scores performance data before they go public? And how are we able to provide clarity and trainings without knowing what it looks like for our districts? And so the answer to that is that counties will have access to the data, to the performance data for districts prior to the public launch. The exact form of how that will take place is still being worked out, whether it's going to be a special login or just general access or a data file, but there will be access for counties so they would be able to see their district's performance data prior to the public launch. And Efren, what was the question? There's one more you wanted me to address? Oh, right. And then just one other thing, just so that you all know, there is a letter that will be going out to all district superintendents and charter school administrators today from State Board President Kirst and Superintendent Torlikson that provides an overview about sort of everything that's happened with our accountability and continuous improvement system, as well as additional information about what to expect with the rollout of the California School Dashboard. It's addressed to the charter school administrators and superintendents of districts only because it's talking about the enrollment process. The county offices that enrollment process has already been completed, but we will forward a copy of that letter to SECESA so that they can share it to SECESA staff so they can send it around to everybody so everyone will be able to see it. But the related point about access to the user credentials, I know that there's some people who have been saying, we don't have access to it. How do we get access to it from county office staff? Each county has already been enrolled as a rubrics coordinator. That was a decision that the county superintendent forwarded that to someone. So that's going to be an internal process that you all need to work out about sharing access for that credential to be able to access the system during the preview period. So I think those were the main questions, so just wanted to address those.
Great, thank you, David. So as we move into the remainder of today, as I mentioned to you when we started, the intent of where we head from here is really about what will happen after July 1, or after school districts submit their LCAPs that have been approved by their board. We know there is a ton of work that you all are involved in that will help districts think about continuous improvement and continuously improving student outcomes through the actions that they set in their next year's LCAP. And for that, I would direct you back to earlier presentations that have been given in the training series, especially the ones that tied to the LCAP. As we think about good models, there were strong models that were shared within the November training session. The models and, I won't say models, the examples that will be shared today are developed for a different purpose. The audience is from here until we get to the part where we have 3 of our county offices who will be sharing this afternoon on what they are working on as during the course of this year to help districts in this transition process. This part on the LCAP is really through the lens of what is that minimum level needed for approval. So that's not the message we want to be taking out to our districts. It's not, what do I need for a C-, right? I mean, that's not the message that we're out there wanting to share. And so as we go through this next piece, it's divided into 5 sections, the five sections of the LCAP template. We have had multiple developers for each one of these pieces. Sometimes not all of the developers were able to be here today for the actual presentation, and so I just wanted you to be aware of that. But the examples that are shared are for you to really grapple with whether or not they meet approval or could be approved. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Roberto from Fresno, and we'll jump right into the plan summary.